Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Papa Bale, and I need to ask a question. Can everything exist everywhere at the same time? It does, just not here. It doesn't do that here. This place is like this. It can be one of two ways. It can be same time, different place, or it could be same place, different time. What that's basically saying is that no two objects can be in the same place at the same time. And for the most part, I'd say that's pretty true. Unless we pull back the veil. I call it the skin, because, that's what we called things in our games that would, like, transmog an item or a piece of clothing or armor. Basically, if I can try... See, I like to do this example. You pick a point, four-dimensional dot. The only way you can find it is three-dimensional. You could find it three-dimensionally, I think. Or it might be, it's the dot, it's like a foot in front of your face, straight in front of your face. Then you stop, and it's like right there. So it's like right there. And then you remain fixed on that spot, flip it over. You see, it's either... It can be same place, but it's got to be a different time. It can be the same time, it's got to be a different place. Or you're going to have a collision, or an explosion, or some fusion, an expansion, really, of reality that is separated from itself. And it's just, the reason why I say that is because everything exists everywhere all the time. And we are getting farther and farther away from that. Or are we getting closer? It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I don't really know. It's just a philosophy. Well, I don't know. I know that it sounds good, and it is a philosophy, and it makes perfect sense to me. And it kind of plugs into all the talk about how this reality isn't real. Like, what's really real is everything is everywhere all the time. And I believe that is what's real. That there's no way that can't be real. I'm not going to tell you how I know that. There's just no way it can't be real, because there's no other way some of the stuff that's happened to me and to other people can't be real. And it gets confusing when talking about reality, because it's a philosophical conversation, to begin with. I mean, people are making it scientific, but then again, you're getting farther and farther away from the truth, the more intricate it becomes. It's a very fractal truth. Supposed to represent, but it's fractured. Very hard to see sometimes. I took a tip from one of my people, commented on one of my videos, and I watched this guy's video about how he explained sacred geometry. A light turned on in my head, and I said, wow, that might be a description for philosophy of everything is everywhere all the time. And everything that you see is merely an extension of the truth. Yeah, I mean, you can get all, smart and say, oh, that's a lie. Well, yeah, kinda. I mean, it's supposed to represent, but not the truth. No, don't get me wrong. I think that everything that's going on right now is fabulous. Great. It's unbelievable. I've seen some things that I never even thought to look for, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of those. But, well, he was explaining it, and I got some of it. But when he was talking about the sphere, I'm like, well, that's exactly what this pertains to. Quote-unquote truth. That everything exists everywhere all the time. And I wonder what a black hole, the very middle center of it, would be like. What would that be like? Have everything exist everywhere all the time. And that's kind of like how I see it. I see it as an inevitability, and we may already even be in it. I know there's no evidence of that, but think quantumly. We may be way farther down the rabbit hole than we thought, depending on the forces that take us there. I'm not even worried about it. Honestly, it's just an idea, it's a thought. But it was a coincidence, maybe, that the shape that we were commissioned to build with construction paper in one of our elementary school classes was the rhombicosi dodecahedron. So it was actually think 12 more sides than the dodecahedron, or the decahedron. Honestly, if you just break it down into the simple shapes, the decahedron is one of the sacred geometry shapes, and it was one of the shapes. I believe it was the dodecahedron that I built, but that kind of ties in with the fact that it's like a beam that radiates from the center, and the farther it gets, the more elaborate and fracted it gets, and things get more and more complicated and hard to do because it's all done. You can't. I mean, if they start incorporating either cybernetics or implants that would allow us to do things a lot more, like, differently, and not even faster, because it isn't about speed. When everything exists everywhere all the time, it is not about speed. It's just not important. Sorry, I always get on a negative tangent and I try to keep it linear, but it's not for me. It's not. And all these ideas keep popping into my head. I smoked a lot of weed. It's hard to, well, I mean, there is no excuse, man. It helps me maintain a level head. That's good. That's a good thing. I'm watching a film called, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to drop any, what's it called? People would argue, since you can't break these rules, quote unquote, then it isn't real. I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. I mean, there are laws, like the laws of physics. I have no idea what they are, but there's this one dude on my channel, and he knows. He knows. He's like, you smoke more weed than I do. I still know the laws of physics. I wanted to say, what are they? And I'm pretty sure he knows, because he wouldn't throw himself on the bus like that. To me, it's like pointless. I mean, unless it's just to get a rise out of me. And what does that make you? You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying, man, you really need to go back to kindergarten and start all over again. Seriously. And I don't know, man. I guess I get kind of violent with my words. I mean, I get forceful with what I say, and I don't mean to. It's just that I'm really passionate at that point about what I'm saying, and it comes out emphasis. But I believe that there is a time and a place where these rules can be broken, if not bent, and some that can be an artificial atmosphere. You know, the time and the place can also be created. So if you create the atmosphere necessary to peel the veil back, so to speak, then would step in and step out, theoretically, somewhere else. If you wanted to come back at all, you know. I think that's pretty good. I think that's cool. And because that last shape of sacred geometry actually has a lot of sides to it. If you know, it looks simpler than the one before it, I believe it has more sides to it. Because it starts off with the triangle after the sphere. It's not a triangle. I don't, you know what, I'm not going to get into it because I'd have to look at the video a few more times just to get the names down, or, you know, more videos about the topic. I don't read. I do not read, really. I don't like it. My mind aches when I read. So I miss out on a lot of stuff, but I'm cool with it. You know, I'm cool with it. There's other ways I can learn. We discovered that in the early 80s. It's been a while since we've known that people don't all learn by reading. It's been a long time. Well, very recently, long time. In the last 30, 35 years. Which in the grand scheme of things is not even enough to get my pulse motor started. I think I got like 92 videos on my pulse motor. And then I got like 13 on the new pulse motor. I got some live stream. People weren't into my live stream today, and that's alright. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is somebody coming into my sphere and telling me that it's supposed to bother me. That bugs me a little bit. And that person is begging to get smacked. Of course, I'd never do anything like that. Never do anything like that, man. I'm not a violent person. I might yell. I might say some pretty crude shit, but I'm not a violent person. To date, I will add that. To this date, I have not been a violent person. But what I've seen in life leads me to believe that nothing that you know right now matters. None of it. Because it's all going to change like 5 or 6 times before you die. It's all going to change. Everything exists everywhere all the time. Just imagine if you could control that power. What that would be like. I mean, what would you even do? You could go anywhere you want, anytime you want. You know what? It may all be in your head, but guess what? That's where it's all at, in your head. You know what? I'm cool with it. You gotta be cool with it, because fighting back is what they want you to do. You know, you don't fight back. Kind of not really go with the flow, really. I don't know. I can't explain it. You know, you got alphas, you got sigmas, you got betas, and then you got neutrals. And I find neutrals to be the more intriguing of a lot, because it's like they're like ghosts. They're always there, but you never need them. I can't say never coalesces, but it happens so rarely that it might as well be never. But, you know, you don't care either way, so just let it happen. Since it's an honest to goodness get together and stuff. And you know what? I've seen, like the geometry is like a ray coming out from the center, from the sphere, from the ether, from the truth, where everything exists everywhere all the time. And all the energy, the entire universe there. It would be like an echo, but always coming from the speaker. It wouldn't be bouncing off all the shit out there and getting all muffled. Be crisp every time from the speaker. And the energy. And it's not like a reverberating echo, like I just made it sound like. It's more like a snap frame of the echo. The energy signature. Because it's not the same. It's more pure. It's the truth, like I like to call it. I haven't watched enough videos to coin anything about it, but, you know, I when I talk about it with my brother, you know, that's how I explain it. You know, if I read anything on it, I probably wouldn't get anything, but if I watched a video or did audiobook, I'd probably get more out of it. Alright, wow, it's been a half an hour already. I'm just going on and on about this, and I guess there's something about the, you know, Freemasons or the Illuminati having sacred geometry in their teachings. And it's really good because it helps you hone your perspective, teaches you about perspective. I mean, when you're going to build something of a grand nature, you need more than just tools. You know what I mean? I mean, tools are going to get you be able to move everything around and stuff, but that's not all you need. You gotta have perspective. The people that run that stuff, you know, a lot of them fit well into the job. You know, it's like not an option whether or not you're going to be a good engineer or a good carpenter or a good contract builder. You know what I mean? Commissioned builder in some cases, like the spiral staircases in the churches, man, freaking phenomenal, dude. I like it a lot. And if you look at that staircase, it may answer a few questions about gravity. Because, I mean, that staircase is just hanging there. And I love how these people that build these things always want to be alone. Yeah, I just don't see building anything like that, abiding by the laws. You can't do it. I mean, you might even be able to, like, shape the wood the way it was shaped, but it wouldn't happen overnight. We don't have that kind of technology. And it was one piece of wood continuously going down. Oh my God, it was just awesome. There was like the only way that he could have done it without like some help. Carve it out of a huge freaking tree log. Like a red oak, man. A baby red, but you know, just a big honking tree. About the size of the staircase, and you carve it out. You could do it that way. That's not what happened. And this wood, rare. Unbelievably rare. Now, let me hypothesize with you for a second about, like, iron or iron oxide. You know, some liquid iron of some kind. Anyway, feed it to my cactus, and then see, by holding a magnet next to it, if we can magnetize the cactus at all. And I could just put, you know, like, the iron deposit down on the bottom of the dirt underneath the cactus and just leave it there in water when it needs watering. Just hope I don't forget about it, so I actually get to test it, because I will forget about it. But I have these 3-foot poles, and they're very attracted to the magnets. All the other poles I have are not attracted to the magnets, so I want to file one of those down and then like grind up the filing, maybe even some rust. I really want to do it on a tree. I want to have a tree absorb the metal filings, because I think a tree might have, you know, room enough for some of the iron to work its way in. I could try celery, a piece of celery. I think we have some celery now. See if we can't, because I know this, that iron will eventually bleed into the water. I believe it gives the water a reddish hue. Yeah, but I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. Peace out.